So it's April Fool's, I guess. Ugh, if there's one part of white society that the leftists can get rid of, I'd nominate that. That would be top of my list. But since it is that day, we gotta take a look at what the other side is doing. And I wanted to do something just a little bit different. And this presents the perfect opportunity because, okay, if you go on CNN's regular front page, if you just go on their website, what do you notice? A whole bunch of nothing. And specifically nothing is Trump's own statements an old lawsuit could haunt him in a future criminal case. Clickbaity headline if I've ever seen it. Listen, Trump hasn't really done much in the past week or so. Like, the last thing of note that he did was probably speak at CPAC. Okay? Hasn't really done much. So why is he front page news? And, okay, the biggest trial that's going on right now has been kind of a total dud. I've been peeking in and out now and again, just catching up, seeing what's going on. There's a bunch of hilarious witness testimony, but nothing's really groundbreaking at this point. And the best that they could come up with is Chauvin told supervisor that Floyd was going crazy and witnesses were hostile. Ooh. Yeah, this is supposed to be their entire big ratings getter, you know? All of the riots that they were out there saying that was peaceful, or fiery, but mostly peaceful, all was a result of this trial, and that's the coverage that they're going with. And yeah, a guide to the COVID-19 vaccine side effects. A bunch of other crap as well, but more importantly, there is some brand new information. As you can see, leaving this image up right here. So, CNN, Brian Stelter, Oliver Darcy, those guys vehemently hate Tucker Carlson. Unless, of course, they can use him as a resource in order to smear somebody else that they hate, potentially even more, or somebody who they can at least use as an example of a good interviewer in order to go after somebody on the other side of the aisle. So I guess we have some new information in the Matt Gaetz situation. As much as you could take CNN as a reliable source, but it's hilarious. So we're going to run with it because it kind of reads like an April Fool's joke. Gaetz showed nude photos of women he said he slept with to lawmakers. It gets even funnier than this and even wilder. And I like Matt Gaetz even more after reading this. Matt Gaetz, the Florida Republican, being investigated by the Justice Department over sex trafficking allegations. Okay, they couldn't even go one complete sentence without making up a lie because all we know right now is, according to reports by a New York Times writer who could very well be a man, is just alleging that there's potentially an investigation going on right now. There's no concrete evidence that he's under investigation right now. So, the only thing that we know for sure is that Matt Gaetz' father was wearing a wire to an extortion attempt by a former DOJ member, David McGee, if I do recall. But no information on that, and why he didn't get a copy of that recording for himself is far beyond me, but more details at a later date. This is just hilarious. Made a name for himself when he arrived on Capitol Hill as a conservative firebrand on TV and a staunch defender of then-President Donald Trump. And another hallmark of CNN reporting journalism. Trying to fit Trump in the first couple of lines, and they got to 3, and that's pretty good. Surprised it wasn't Trump ally Representative Matt Gaetz, but I digress. Behind the scenes, Gaetz gained a reputation in Congress over his relationships with women and bragging about his sexual escapades to his colleagues, multiple sources told CNN. I have never heard that before, but I guess if you're an anonymous source for CNN, they'll tell you whatever you want. Gaetz allegedly showed off to other lawmakers photos and videos of nude women he said he had slept with. Every guy out there has done this, okay? This is just like in 2016 when the pussy tape came out from Trump. This is the type of behavior guys engage in, like it or not. Listen, ladies, if you're going to be sending out nudes, guys are going to be sharing them, okay? Hey, look what I got, look what I got. Or if they're horrendous, you get laughed at, including while on the House floor showing these pictures and videos. That seems a little bit too fucking bold, okay? I gotta press X to doubt on that. The sources, including 2 people directly shown the material, said Gaetz displayed the images of women on his phone and talked about having sex with them. A straight white male, how even worse. One of the videos showed a naked woman with a hula hoop. God, I hope that he was actually banging somebody who was hula hooping and not using it as a belt. It was a point of pride, one of the sources said of Gaetz. It should be. That is fucking hilarious. There's no indication that these pictures are connected to the DOJ investigation, because we don't know what the scope and the scale of this DOJ investigation is. Again, this story is fucking bizarre, okay? But as much as I'd just like to keep it nice and light, we actually have some real reporting from a credible outlet. The Epoch Times has this one here. Documents outlined alleged scheme to extort Representative Matt Gaetz's family. Newly published documents appear to back up Matt Gaetz's claim that he and his family were victims of an extortion scheme. Email obtained and published by the Washington Examiner, a lawyer for Gaetz's father, Don, great name, a former Florida state senator. That's what I said before in the previous video, that he has political connections, because in order to get any sort of traction in politics, like it or not, around the world, you have to have the connections, okay? It just so happens that Matt Gaetz is kind of on the up and up, so it's not so bad. Still a system that needs to be refined, but them be the breaks. You got to play the hand that you're dealt. So anyways, yeah, Don was asked the Department of Justice for confirmation that both the department and the FBI were seeking Don's assistant. My client, Don Gaetz, was approached by two individuals to make a sizable payment in what I would call a scheme to defraud, Jeffrey Neiman wrote. The FBI was not asking Don to voluntarily and proactively assist, was voluntarily acting and proactively assist in their investigation, which Don is willing to do. Please confirm that your office and the FBI would like Don's assistance in this matter, and that he will be working at the government's request. Assistant U.S. Attorney David Goldberg. So many Jews in this. I can confirm that your client is working with the office as well as the FBI and the government's request in order to determine if the if the federal crime has been committed. This has been discussed with and approved by with the FBI as well as leadership of my office and the components of Main Justice. A source confirmed the authenticity of the message with the Epoch Times. Okay. The plan involved, so this is going into more detail. The plan involved aiding and an attempt to secretly arrange for the release of Robert Levinson, a former FBI agent who vanished from Iran in 2007. Okay. Don Gaetz the next day met with another man allegedly involved in the scheme, former Air Force officer Bob Kent, according to the Examiner. During the meeting, Don Gaetz was presented with a 3-page document dubbed Project Homecoming, which sought a $25 million loan from the purpose of rescuing Levinson. Levinson's family said last year that the U.S. officials believe Levinson died while in Iranian custody. An inquiry to McGee went unreturned. Kent could not be reached. McGee told the Daily Beast that any reports of extortion involving him were completely and totally false. That is something somebody would say in his situation. Again, we don't have much confirmation other than just random sources. The documents were published after a fraught several days for Gaetz, a rising star in the GOP, obviously. The situation started when the New York Times, citing anonymous sources, claimed that he was under investigation for having a relationship with a 17-year-old girl. See, again, at least the Epoch Times does it fair justice, and we didn't have to go to a separate article in order for them to clear up the fact that he is not 100% under investigation. He still could be. Well, who knows? I'd investigate how you can get a head that size on those shoulders. But we don't know. All we have is just an anonymous source in a Times article. Whoop-de-fucking-do. So yeah, I suppose the plot gets thicker and deeper. Hopefully it involves more hula hoops, because that really gave me a good laugh. And with that said, guys, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.